construction companies, developers have been instructed to implement pre-construction methods. Okay, essentially, they have to apply termiticide. So what is termiticide? Termiticide is the pesticide which is designated or formulated purposely for termite management. Okay, that is termiticide. Just like rodenticide, rodenticide is applied for management of rodents, vertebrate animals, rats in particular. And then you have the herbicide, okay, that is meant for weeds. So side is essentially killing. So termiticide is literally translated as to kill termites. Just like rodenticide literally means to kill rodents. Yeah? Okay, essentially, they have to apply termiticide to the whole wide area where construction is to take place. Okay. I'm not sure whether this has been enforced. Yeah? Enforcement is pending, but I have to check on the status. But need to check on the status. Okay. Now, when you apply termiticide to the whole area where construction is to take place, so the whole area would be treated. The whole area will be treated, and this will resolve the issue of the termite attack in the future, unless there is an introduction. If termites is reintroduced or reinvaded the area. Normally, this is encouraged where the area used to be a plantation, whether it's rubber or palm, which is mostly infested with termites. Okay. That is a pre-construction. Let's move on to post-construction. Post-construction. So basically, post-construction takes place after construction has been completed. Okay. So obviously, this is much more obviously. This would cost more for owners, premise owners, because they will have to undertake to engage as control operators, in short, ECOs, and bear the consultation and operational costs, include the application of the multi-site. Costs, okay. Okay, that is post-construction. That is done after the construction has been completed, and the buildings is already the building is has the building has been constructed now. So when we talk about post-construction, there are a number of methods. Number one, we can use physical barriers. Okay, barriers can be constructed to prevent termites from gaining access to the buildings. So you can look at some of the examples in the notes that has been put up in the Putra Blast system. Okay, so this is just the summary. Okay, normally this is not a fail-safe system, i.e., it is not foolproof. Termites can actually find their way up the building, especially dry wood termites and subterranean termites, which I have disclosed in the last chapter. So that is the weakness of the physical barriers. And then we have number two, the heat treatment. So basically, you cover the whole building with canvas and using butane gas to provide heat inside the building. The covered building. So in this way, all the termites that are present in the building killed by the higher temperature. Now this is of course very costly. Very costly. And normally practice in the temperate regions. Okay. Similarly, similarly, you can apply the cold freezing treatment. In this case, you should be using the liquid nitrogen. By applying liquid nitrogen. Okay. This should be used or applied on the source of infestation, freezing the whole colony inside the building. Okay, and then the next one for using microwave. The application depends on the capacity of the microwave device. So it should be applied at one small area, maybe measuring 1 meter square, at a time. Okay, that is using microwave. Another method is by applying electrification by applying electrodes. That is used at the two ends of the area to be treated. Termites would be killed by the electrical charges. Okay. So these are the methods that can be applied in a post-construction strategies. Okay. Next, we are going to talk about chemical control. There are a number of strategies. Application one is application of repellents. This is called barrier application. So what does a repellent does? It will repel the termites and it will go somewhere else. That is the apparent weakness. The apparent weakness is they do not kill, but disperse the colony somewhere else. So this does not make economic sense and does not make economic sense as the colony is still there. Colony is still there. And diverted them to the neighboring areas. Okay. And apart from that, the barrier system may not be complete. Allowing termites to pass through at the weak points. So it will not develop fail-safe termite management program. Okay. Now, number two is the application of treatment zone. Which were led to the extermination of termites if they attempt to the treatment zone. Definitely, this is the better option. Okay. So we have the repellents and also chemicals that can be used for treatment. Okay, so let's look at the barrier zone. Like I said, there are two types. Number one, this is called the complete barrier zone. So what happened in a complete barrier zone, termites would be repelled. Okay, they would be repelled because you have applied repellents. These are repellents, yeah, that has been applied. But when the application of repellents are incomplete, this is the representation. Repellent application is incomplete. So you have a situation whereby termites may be repelled in some places, but there are areas whereby termites can gain access. to the premise of the buildings due to the incomplete barrier zone. We call this the incomplete barrier zone. Okay. Now what happened when you apply the treatment zone? Okay. So let's take a look at the treatment zone. So in the treatment zone, this is a termite site. In other words, chemical that will kill termite. Chemicals that create a barrier zone just now doesn't kill but rather repel. In this situation, you'll find termites will pass through the treatment zone. Okay, they will pass through the treatment zone and they will be killed. They will not repel because it's not a barrier, physical barrier, or even chemical barrier. They will pass through and they will be killed. So treatment zone is a situation whereby termites will gain access to the building but would be killed. Okay, they would be killed because they did not sense the presence of the chemicals. So that is a treatment zone. Now let's look at how we can apply baits to exterminate termite colonies. This is how termite colonies are interconnected. Okay, so you have many termite colonies and they are interconnected. They are interconnected. Let's say this is a subterranean termites. So each of these colony may hold thousands of termites. And they are interconnected. So we can say in one large area, you may have millions of termites. Okay, an incredible number of colonies which interconnect and sustain several millions of termites in one area. So the strategy is to kill all the termites. So we do not want an application that only kills or remove one colony, but rather remove all the colonies because they are interconnected. So how can we do that? Okay. Now, in order for us to do that, this is recorded. Don't worry, you can look at it later. We need to have a bed. So you place the bed, you dig a hole. This is the ground level. So you dig a hole. Sorry. And place a wooden stick inside. This is a wooden stick. Sepotong kayu. So kita tanam sepotong kayu ni di dalam lubang yang digali. And you close it. Okay, there is a lid. The bed comes with a lid. Okay, so you close it. What happened? Termites. Because this is a ground that is an area that is infested with termites. Okay. Okay, all the termites will be coming in to feed on the wooden stick. So eventually, the bed is surrounded by termites. What you need to do is you extract the bed. Okay, you extract the bed. Now this bed is now fully infested. Fully infested. You put them in a plastic. So this is a plastic with the wooden stick full of termites, and there is termiticide dust inside. So these are termiticide dust. These are the termiticide dust. In dust form, okay. And you make sure that the dust covered the whole, every single termites. Okay. So then you put or return the wooden stick. Okay. So this is a wooden stick that has been covered with dust. Wooden stick that has been covered with termiticide dust. So now the termites will return to the colony. The termites that has been covered by the dust return to the colony. Okay, so once inside the colony, say this is the colony. Okay, this is the colony. So the termite that has been covered with dust will be groomed. Okay, by the other termites. The worker termites will surround the individual that has been covered with the dust, and they will start grooming, grooming and cleaning the individual termite so in the process consume the dust. So the whole colony will be affected and killed, including the queen. So how is the queen affected? The queen, let's say the queen that lives in the queen chamber. Right? Queen is in the queen chamber. That is involved in the feeding of worker termites. Remember, they feed one another through the mouth and also through the anus. So in that way, the dust is being transferred. And similarly, since these colonies are connected in a network of termite community, so in the end, all the colonies will be destroyed. Okay. So that's how it works. Now, there is another chemical. It's called the IGR. IGR. So what is IGR? IGR is insecticide growth it's not IGR, sorry, it's IGF, IGF factor. So we apply the chemical on the termites. Same like the methods that I have explained before. Okay? It's called trap, treat, and release. In short, TTR. Trap, treat, and release. So once a termite is applied, oh sorry, I confused it. It's actually IGR, right? Regulator, growth regulator. Insect growth regulator. Insect growth regulator. Once a termite is applied with IGR, molting will not take place. So what is molting? Molting is when you shed your cuticle, your exoskeleton, since termite grows. So this is egg, and then you have the neem and 1 mph. And then you have the first install. This is the second install first. The second install the second install, and then the third install. And for each of the neem to grow from one stage to another, it requires molting. It has to shed its exoskeleton. So when you apply, okay, when you apply, let's say this is the termite that has been applied with IGR. So it cannot grow. Yeah, it cannot grow. Why? Because it prevents molting. So what happened? The termite will continue to grow. This is the original size. Let's say this is the second install. It is supposed to grow larger. Yeah. So this is the third install. But since IGR has been applied, so what happened? Okay, it fails to shed the exoskeleton. Okay, and the termite will die. This is the chemical method by using insect growth regulator. Yeah, it is trapped in its own exoskeleton. Yeah. It should have been removed so that it can grow larger in this case. Yeah. But since IGR has been applied, so it cannot molt and it will die in that situation. Okay, so that is the application of IGR, insect growth regulator. Yeah. Okay. Another method of termiticide application this is for post-construction. Is you drill holes along the edge of the building. Okay, let's say this is the profile of the plan of your house. Yeah? So you have the, let's say, this is the living room. The living room, and then you have the master bedroom. Let's say this is the living room. This is the master bedroom. And you have perhaps another bedroom here. Then you have your kitchen. Okay, roughly, okay, this is the, let's say this is the toilet. So you need to drill holes along the edge. And on both sides of the wall, separation wall. Okay. Along all walls inside the building. You don't have to bother about outside the building. So holes are being drilled the size of, let's say, 20 cent size. And then you pump in chemicals. The distance between the holes depends. It may range from perhaps 1 meter. The distance between the holes drilled, perhaps 1 meter or 1.5 meter, depending on the advice of the PCO, pest control operator. So you drill the holes and then you pump in chemicals, termiticide. So let's look at the, this is a surface, and these are the holes. So you pump in chemicals through the hole and underneath. Okay. Termiticide will cover the foundation. And if there happens to be termite under the floorings, yeah, okay, termites which try to gain access through the walls, this is the walls, so all of them will be killed. Okay, that is a method of applying termiticide in a post-construction of buildings that has been completed. Now, in a pre-construction method, so let's say this is the area whereby of the built-up area. Building will be constructed on this piece of land. So what you need to do is termiticide will have to be spread throughout the area. Okay, so you have application of termiticide. Is throughout the built-up area. Building has not been constructed, this is a foundation, and the surrounding area. Okay, this is the surrounding area. Okay, what is the distance of the, we call this the boundary area. So the distance between the boundary area and the built-up area is 1.5 meters. Yeah. So all around 1.5 meters, 1.5 meters. Similarly, the same thing for the rest of the edge. So let's say let's calculate. Let's calculate the area. Going to draw this again. Okay, typically, let's say this is 70 meters. No, 70 feet. And then this is 20 feet. And then we convert that to meter. That's it. That is about 6 meters. 70 feet, that's about divided by 3. 23, let's say, okay, 23 meters. 6 by 23. So the buffer zone or the boundary area, you have to include 1.5 meter all around. So the length is 23 plus 1.5, and then the breadth is 6 plus 1.5. So this is 24.5, and then this one is 7.5. So the area to be applied with termiticide is not just the built-up area, but it should also consider the boundary area or the buffer zone. So it should be 24.5 multiplied by 7.5. So that is the, let's see what is the area involved. (24.5) multiplied by 7.5. So that will give you 180. 183.75 meters squared. So application of termiticide will have to be based on this area. Application of termiticide will be based on the area that has been calculated, 183.75 meters squared. Okay, so the amount of termiticide used should be able to cover this whole area, rather than just the build-up area. It must include the boundary area as well. So that is basically the application of termiticide in the most basic method. Okay, I guess that is the material for the lab today. Let's sum it up. Okay. First, we talk about pre and post construction. Of course, pre-construction is the better option. We talk about post-construction, and the methods that I have listed down just now is electric, microwave, heat treatment, cold freezing treatment. Okay. Basically, these are the 4 methods, and definitely they are expensive. And mostly implemented in the temperate areas, temperate region, kawasan yang beriklim sederhana. Okay, I think this is normally not done here. These options are out of the question. So pre-construction treatment is the best option and make economic sense. And when we talk about pre-construction, chemical application. That's what we meant. Application of termiticide. And we have the barrier zone. And then we have the treatment zone. Okay, now barrier zone involves application of repellent. So it doesn't kill the termites. They don't kill. They just repel or disperse. Okay. And somehow the barrier zone is incomplete and termites can gain access. Okay. Now when we apply treatment zone, this one will kill the termites. This one will kill the termites. We also talk about TTR, which stands for trap, treat, and release. And then we also talk about IG, insect growth regulator. And a simple method of control using drilling for post-construction, and also application of termiticide on the foundation and the boundary area for pre-construction. So basically that is the outline of our lab for today. The details you can refer to the material that I have put up in the Putra Blast. Okay, class, do you have any question?
Doktor?
Yes.
Macam dulu saya ada buat macam dekat garaj kereta saya tu.
Okay.
Kan ada rangka bumbung daripada kayu.
Okay.
Tapi saya sapukan minyak hitam daripada minyak hitam lori lah untuk melindungi surface kayu tu daripada serangan anai-anai. Maksudnya dikira sebagai barrier kan?
Ya. Itu boleh dianggap sebagai sebagai halangan lah, barrier. Berkesan ke?
Setakat ni masih berkesan lah, memang tak ada serangga yang tebuk kayu tu atau makan kayu tu.
Okay, now bila kita treat, itu namanya kita treat lah, kita rawat kayu tu. Kalau di bahagian luar saja, biasanya dia tidak akan diserang oleh serangga macam kumbang lah, ataupun semut tukang. Tapi you kena tengok juga bahagian dalam. Tempat yang tidak dirawat, bahagian dalam tu the internal part tu, bahagian dalam kayu tu, itu tidak mungkin tidak kena rawatan dengan minyak hitam tu kan, ataupun apapun bahan kimia untuk perawat yang kita gunakan. So anai-anai mungkin dia sudah tebuk bahagian dalam tu daripada bawah. So you have to inspect lah. One way one way to tell whether your wooden structure tu has been infested or not, try to jentik kayu tu. Jentik kayu tu, and then listen carefully, because kalau ada anai-anai dalam tu, askar akan bertindak balas dengan mengetik dia punya mandible, peralatan mulut dia. So you can actually hear the sound. But you may not hear the sound pun, mungkin you tak dengar pun, tapi ada anai-anai kat dalam tu. So from time to time you kena check lah. You kena check, ya. Sama ada kayu tu nampak macam kalau kita ketuk-ketuk tu macam dia lompong ke apa kan. So dekat luar memang tak nampak lah. Tapi takut dekat dalam yang sudah dimakan oleh anai-anai. Kita nak lindungi kayu tu daripada kumbang kayu ataupun daripada semut tukang ataupun lebah tukang, itu mungkin berkesan. You kata pun memang berkesan pun, tapi daripada anai-anai saya tak pasti. Sebab dia bahagian dalam. Okey?
Okey, doktor.
Okey. Oh, tahniah lah, you ada bengkel bengkel motor, bengkel kereta.
Kan garaj kereta untuk parking kat rumah.
Oh, garaj. Okey, garaj untuk parking. Okey. Itu kena tengok jugalah kalau takut kalau roboh apa kan. Okey, ada soalan lagi ke? Kalau tak ada soalan lagi, please indicate dekat chat tu your attendance macam biasa. Semua dah ni indicate your attendance. Okay, ada soalan dekat sini untuk pre-construction, adakah lepas tu tak akan ada termites untuk jangka masa panjang? Atau keberangkalian termites akan ada juga? Ya, untuk pre-construction ni, basically kita menghapuskan anai-anai yang ada di kawasan tersebut lah. Ya. Jadi kalau anai-anai itu dah dihapuskan, tak ada lagi lah anai-anai, melainkan kalau ada invasion atau maksudnya kemasukan koloni baru, sepatutnya ini tak berlaku lah, sebab bahan kimia tu biasanya dia punya kesan rawatan tu jangka panjang. Kalau ada termite yang ada kat situ pun ataupun serangga lain, dia akan mati dengan keberadaan racun anai-anai tadi. Melainkan kalau berlaku leaching, leaching ni maksudnya bahan kimia tadi dia semakin larut akibat daripada air hujan dan sebagainya, akhirnya dia semakin berkurangan dan mungkin untuk satu tempoh yang lama lah, mungkin dah tak ada dah racun. Waktu tu anai-anai mungkin akan hadir, tapi tidak serius. Sebab apa? Sebab tidak ada kayu dekat situ. Ya? Kalau dulu ada getah, ada kelapa sawit, memang jadi makanan dia. Ya? Sekarang dah diubah menjadi taman perumahan. So least likely lah, ya? Maksudnya sangat least likely ataupun hampir nak kata mustahil tak boleh lah, ya? Tapi hampir mustahil akan ada anai-anai di tempat tersebut, ya? Untuk jangka masa yang panjang. Okey, kalau masing-masing sudah menyatakan kehadiran. So kita jumpa minggu depan masih lagi online minggu depan adalah minggu yang ketiga. Okay, so till we meet again, Assalamualaikum dan juga salam sejahtera kepada semua.
Waalaikumsalam. Terima kasih doktor.
Waalaikumsalam.
Terima kasih doktor.
Ya, sama-sama.
Terima kasih doktor.
Baik.
Terima kasih doktor.
Doktor, kita ada buat ni tak, macam turun site pergi tangkap tikus guna perangkap kan? Macam senior-senior dulu.
Okey. Minggu keempat tu kita akan buat apa ni? Buat secara face to face kan? Kita bolehlah buat projek tu insya-Allah. Boleh. Can be done.
Senior cerita.
Apa dia?
Senior selalu cerita tangkap tikus kat sedang lah.
Okey, ya memang sebelum PKP dulu memang kita ada buat. Okey, jumpa lagi ya.
Okey, jumpa lagi doktor.
Terima kasih.
Sama-sama.